The Frankie DeBusk Show is a special presentation of the Pioneer Sports Network. The Gateway Ford Frankie DeBusk Show with the voice of the Pioneers, Brian Stayton, and head coach Frankie DeBusk.
The Frankie DeBusk Show is presented by Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda, the home of the big deal, located on the 11E bypass in Greenville. And brought to you in part by Applebee's, your neighborhood bar and grill. Applebee's, eating good in the neighborhood. Sodexo, a worldwide leader in food and facilities management services. Sodexo, making every day a better day. Your Greenville Light and Power System, serving Greenville and Greene County since 1945. By Green Coach Tours, celebrating their 66th anniversary. By Consumer Credit Union, with 3 convenient locations in Greenville and Mossheim. Creekside Markets, pick up a Hunt Brothers Pizza for those football Friday nights or Saturday afternoons. Greenville Federal Bank. Greenville Federal Bank is banking made easy. Laughlin Memorial Hospital, whatever you do, do it well. Andrew Johnson Bank, a strong heritage, a stronger future. Home owned and operated with locations in Morristown, Jonesboro, Johnson City, Cleveland, and Greenville. Grand Rental Station, anything you'll ever need to rent or buy. Special consideration from Comcast Cable.
And now, the voice of the Pioneers, Brian Stayton.
The Tusculum Pioneers and the North Greenville University Crusaders met for the 4th time from Pioneer Field at the Niswonger Sports Complex this past Saturday. Hello again, everyone. Brian Stayton for the Frankie DeBusk Show, presented by Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda. We'll be joined by the coach, Frankie DeBusk, here in just moments. Bo Cordell became just the 3rd South Atlantic Conference quarterback to pass for over 10,000 yards, and it came on the 3rd play from scrimmage in the football game. But the Pioneers also pick up their first win of the season. And somewhat a come-from-behind session. The Pioneers fell down 7-0, tied the game, took the lead, fell behind, came back and won the football game 33-21, avenging last year's 28-7 loss to the North Greenville Crusaders. We welcome in Pioneer coach Frankie DeBusk, a game that had ups and downs, ebbs and flows, but I think a game that was definitely defined by the big play. And you had 2 guys that really stepped up on Saturday.
Yeah, once again, we're giving everybody a lot of things to watch, good and bad, Brian. I told our football team, I think we elevated to a new level. We had guys that we talk about being playmakers. We think they're playmakers, and in this ball game, they ended up making some really big plays. I thought our defense responded exceptionally well. I know we gave up a lot of yards, but you know, those were just stats. I'm not worried about that. I thought we had our backs against the wall a lot of times. We responded. Made some big plays, had a huge 4th down stop late in the game, had a big interception late in the game. It was up and down throughout the whole ball game, but really pleased with the effort of the whole football team. I told them at halftime that I thought our special teams game was the reason we were in it, playing like we were. Still started a little bit slow offensively, but got that monkey off our back by finally scoring in the first quarter. We still are not playing as fast as we'd like to early on, but we made a lot of plays throughout the game, and ultimately in the end is to find a way to win, and this week we found a way to get a W.
Usually Coach DeBusk will always say things are defined by the fact that that one guy made that one play. Well, there were a bunch of guys on this day, and we'll talk about it more through the show, but I do want to bring up Brian Marshall, the 3rd best day in school history in all-purpose yards, and really his 89-yard kickoff return right after North Greenville had taken the lead really gave you so much momentum to carry through the rest of the contest.
You know, we went behind there and wasn't even thinking that Brian was going to take one for 90 yards. Actually, I'm thinking we're getting ready to have to establish a drive. We're going to get down here and maybe have to try a field goal, take the lead, you know, and all of a sudden he comes busting out of there and makes a huge return. They had just scored, and we needed something good to happen, and it was just a giant momentum buster for them and got it back on our side. And, you know, Brian's got the capabilities of doing that, but Saturday night he played like a man on a mission. Just really pleased with his effort and his courage and heart. And, you know, he continues to make plays, and I don't know what he weighs, but he sure don't weigh enough to be getting beaten bang like he is right now, but really pleased with his effort.
Ryan, as we'll talk about later in the show, has a chance to become one of the only running backs to achieve a feat that no other has ever done here at Tusculum College, and we'll talk about that as the show continues. Funny from a one week to the next where the Pioneers offensively, statistically dominated the game against West Georgia but lost. North Greenville dominated the game statistically against the Pioneers this past Saturday, but the Pioneers won. We'll talk about all of that when we take a look at our quarters when Frankie DeBusk Show continues right after this, presented by Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda.
Gateway Ford on Highway 11E is rapidly becoming the #1 Ford dealer in the region. We're changing the car business for the better. Buying a car has never been easier. No add-on stickers. Plus, we'll appraise your car right up front. You pick the car you like and have your best price in less than 30 minutes. Plus, at Gateway, you'll receive a lifetime powertrain warranty on every new vehicle purchased. The clear choice. Gateway Ford, home of the big deal on Highway 11E in Greenville.
Applebee's 2 for $20 is back and fresher than ever. Whoa.
Hey, Chris. Hi, Jesse.
Hey.
Ready to order?
Yep, 2 for $20.
1 appetizer, 2 entrees, and layers of fresh flavor. So, who's paying this week?
Call it in the air.
Tails.
Pony up, Palmer. So come on in for new favorites like new creamy chicken fettuccine carbonara, new bruschetta chicken, or classics like the 7-ounce house sirloin. That's 1 appetizer, 2 entrees, $20. You got off easy, my friend. It's the freshest 2 for $20 yet, only at Applebee's. Now serving half-price appetizers late night.
Welcome back to the Frankie DeBusk Show. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Brian Stayton.
Tusculum Pioneers and the North Greenville University Crusaders. They meet for the 4th time from Pioneer Field. They will play to the 4th quarter, and it would go well into the 4th. Hello again, everyone. The Frankie DeBusk Show presented by Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda. Coach, you come into this contest before we really get started with it. A lot of competition just down the road down there in Knoxville, but I got to be honest with you, it was a pretty good atmosphere for Saturday night football.
As we started pregame warm-ups, I looked up there and I realized we weren't going to have many fans. And we're on block break. We had a big game about an hour down the road that took away a lot of our fans. But I'm going to tell you what, once the game started, I thought we had an unbelievable crowd, an unbelievable support. It was a night game, and I've already heard that we need to play more night games. And I tell you what, if it means we'll get that kind of support and get a win, definitely we'll consider it. But it ended up being a phenomenal night for Tusculum College football.
It was a win. Let's take a look at it. The first quarter highlights presented by Gateway Ford.
Again, Brian, what a wonderful night. We get started and got a lot of kids there. I thought that was one of the big excitements. We had our Take a Kid to the Game, and all the kids got to lead the team out onto the field. And there's old Chad Grindstaff, our grounds guy, giving us a little smoke to come through. Our kids are excited about that, I'm sure, and we're locked in arms, making sure we all understand we're in this thing together, and we just proud of how we fought from the very opening kickoff.
The Tusculum Pioneers would have the football. They won the toss, and they would elect to receive the football to start this football game. And Xavier Smith, not a great return, so the Pioneers start from their own 17. This is a 3rd down and 10 situation, something the Pioneers trying to avoid. And Kenny Funny picks up the 1st down, and then you go to the ground game with Chad Blakely and Bo Cordell trying to find West Powell, and almost some unfortunate happenings early in this game as North Greenville was flying around defensively.
Quite frankly, they're getting after us. We're not ready. Took us a little series to wake up. We got to be ready to play football, and we're still not starting offensively like we want to and should. But I talked about it in the pregame show there. Our special teams was really keeping us in the game. That's an unbelievable punt by Andy Rossetti. Great job by our guys getting downfield down at it inside the 10-yard line.
64-yard punt for Rossetti is his career long, but it was a 14-play, 92-yard drive that took 5:48 off the clock as Malfris for North Greenville would take the ball into pay dirt. And North Greenville would take the lead. So, Coach, there you are, down 7-0 to start a football game once again, and you got to feel like you're a snake bit.
Well, I was wondering if we were going to be able to recover, but I also thought to myself, we've been here before, so hopefully we'll respond like we need to, and kept playing hard. There's Rocky Jones just playing really well for us. Brian Alexander playing really well for us. That's Jonathan Wimberly, one of our freshmen from Tucker, Georgia, Tucker High School down in the Atlanta area, making a big play, causing a fumble. I don't remember who came out of there with it, but Rocky came out of there with it. Great effort by those guys, and we needed something good to happen, and we created a big play.
The Tusculum Pioneers would take advantage of this turnover, and again, they have done a good job protecting Bo Cordell this year. Chad Blakely for 3 yards, then he loses 2 yards, and then Bo Cordell stepping up. I called him happy fate to start the year, but he stayed in the pocket there, and he found a wide-open Jonathan Dilberto.
It was a great catch by Dilberto. That's not an easy ball, right? I mean, that's a hard ball to go up and get, and Jonathan elevated and made a big play. Happy for him to get in the end zone. He scored a couple times this year already, and Bo does need to stay in the pocket a little longer. He's got to sit in there and let things happen. He's getting a little excited, but early on we weren't defending, or we weren't protecting very well. They were running free and causing some ruckus for us in the backfield, and just needed something positive to happen, and we tied it up 7-7.
Pioneers at the end of the first tied at 7 with North Greenville. Back with more of the Frankie DeBusk Show right after this, presented by Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda.
Gateway Ford on Highway 11E is rapidly becoming the #1 Ford dealer in the region. We're changing the car business for the better. Buying a car has never been easier. No add-on stickers. Plus, we'll appraise your car right up front. You pick the car you like and have your best price in less than 30 minutes. Plus, at Gateway, you'll receive a lifetime powertrain warranty on every new vehicle purchased. The clear choice. Gateway Ford, home of the big deal on Highway 11E in Greenville.
Your Greenville Light and Power System, an electrical distributor of TVA, serving Greenville and Greene County since 1945. Your Greenville Light and Power is dedicated to excellence in service and reliability. Visit online at glps.net. Green Coach Charters and Tours has been proudly serving the traveling public for over 65 years and is the official carrier of Tusculum College Athletics. If you have never traveled by Green Coach, may we invite you to join them for an exciting travel adventure. Visit online at greencoach.com.
Showtime. You know what it is. Everything we do it big. Screaming, that's not. When we step up on the field, that's not. Small town, but we still do it very big. Back in ours, back in ours, back in ours, back in ours. We grind hard for the rings with the diamonds on it. Back in ours, back in ours, back in ours, back in ours.
Welcome back into the Frankie DeBusk Show, presented by Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda. The Pioneers and the Crusaders of North Greenville are tied at 7 at the end of the first. We go to our second quarter highlights, presented by Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda.
Motors are running, Brian. It's a tight ball game. Somebody's got to step up and make a play, and we're playing hard defensively. They've put another quarterback in the game, a little shifty guy here. Our guys are flying around and trying to keep him from getting outside the pocket because he doesn't throw the ball exceptionally well, but they called it Saturday night. Number 10, I don't know if that's him there, but Martino's a good player. Threw it to him and he made some catches.
This drive began obviously right at the end of the first quarter, so we moved right now into the second quarter. And on the drive, again, two freshman running backs for North Greenville, Darius Paulk and Darius Custard. And they were both very effective in the running game, but no one over 100 yards. And Hillary said doesn't throw the ball very well, hadn't thrown it much this year, and B.A., Brian Alexander, nearly with the pick.
If he had any hands, he would have caught that football. That's what I'll tell him from now on. But great effort, great job being there to prevent the screen, and we hold them to a field goal, and they end up missing it. We need some good fortune, and it's still 7-7, and we get the ball offensively. So it's a great time to start being active on offense.
7 plays, just 17 yards really for North Greenville. The defense stepping up after a first couple of drives for North Greenville that really put the defense back on their heels. Right now, Brian Marshall, he's starting to get the feel of the game. A little shovel pass here, makes one man miss, makes another man miss, and that's what Brian Marshall brings to the table each and every game. I
thought he ran the ball exceptionally well. Just really proud of his effort. That really got him started there. And we start taking advantage of Big West Powell, throwing it out here to him, converting, and Brian's helping us. This is a big play right here by Bo. Huge play. He's getting pressured. He made 2 or 3 of those throws on Saturday night where he's getting a lot of heat, getting ready to go down and makes a big throw. And here's Brian Marshall. And nobody's blocking those guys. He just makes 3 or 4 miss, gets inside the 5, gives us a first down, and we got a little momentum on offense.
20-yard run for Brian Marshall. Had a career day, 90 yards rushing on the afternoon for Pioneer. Had to look it up. Last back to go over 100 yards for Pioneers, Patrick King, back in, I believe, 2007 against Carson Newman when he ran over 100 yards. Of course, Corey Russell did. So the Pioneers have it first and goal. There was pass interference trying to get in. There's Trey McCoy out of Anderson County High School. And a well-designed play here. And this is a guy whose name we think we'll be calling a lot in the future. This is Justin Houston's first touchdown of his career.
Great execution there by our offensive football team. And Justin needs to look that football in a little better. He's lucky he made the catch. Bo could put it out in front of him a little bit better, but good execution, great touchdown by Justin, and I hope that's just the first of many. He's a true freshman out of Bradley Central High School down in Cleveland, and expecting great things out of Justin.
10 plays, 72 yards for the Pioneers. The Brandon Berkey kick was good. We'll talk a little bit more about the extra points coming up here in a moment. But right here at the end of the second quarter, North Greenville with the ball, down 14-7. Joseph Carter, who had the better day at quarterback, but a rough series. This Pioneer defense had him swarmed most of this series.
We're starting to play a little different right now, play harder, get after him a little bit. We almost picked one off there. I think that's Evan Dansby on the sidelines, and make him kick it. Brian did a great job fielding our kicks for us. This one we just sort of get out of the way of, and they had a rugby style trying to keep him from getting his hands on the ball. But we did a good job defensively there, getting him off the field.
Brian Marshall leads the league in punt return average, 14.5. Didn't want to kick to him. Did not want to kick to him on the kickoffs either, and didn't early, but a nice little adjustment could have been made here at the half. And at the half, where the Pioneers scored their first points in the first quarter this year, have their first lead of the year as they lead it 14-7. Second half coming up when the Frankie DeBusk Show continues, presented by Gateway Ford, Lincoln Mazda.
Gateway Ford on Highway 11E is rapidly becoming the #1 Ford dealer in the region. We're changing the car business for the better. Buying a car has never been easier. No add-on stickers. Plus, we'll appraise your car right up front. You pick the car you like and have your best price in less than 30 minutes. Plus, at Gateway, you'll receive a lifetime powertrain warranty on every new vehicle purchased. The clear choice. Gateway Ford, home of the big deal on Highway 11E in Greenville.
Sodexo, a world leader in food and facilities management services. Sodexo proudly serves Tusculum College and supports Pioneer football. Sodexo, making every day a better day. Andrew Johnson Bank was founded on conservative banking principles. Over the last 30 years, they have steadily built their balance sheet and increased capital by following prudent lending principles and avoiding risky investments. In uncertain times, you can continue to count on Andrew Johnson Bank, your locally owned community bank. A strong heritage, a stronger future. Andrew Johnson Bank, member FDIC. Torrey Slavin is going to go deep. He's looking for Xavion Smith. Caught it at the 29, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown Pioneers. Touchdown Xavion Smith. Welcome back into the Frankie DeBusk Show, presented by Gateway Ford, Lincoln Mazda. The Pioneers lead 14-7 going into the second half. It will be North Greenville with the football. Defense steps up big. That's where we'll pick up our coverage. In the third quarter, presented by Gateway Ford, Lincoln Mazda.
You know, the turning point of the game is truthfully, I think, the turnover series, turnovers, and we did a good job not turning it over offensively, and our defense did a great job of causing some fumbles and getting after North Greenville here. And I presented Mike Iezzi, our defensive coordinator, the game ball at the end of the game. Again, we gave up yards, but we bowed our backs when we need to. We made plays when we needed to. There's our defensive kids flying around making plays. Can't really tell you who that is, but I know we got some guys that are stepping up and getting their arms around people, making it happen.
Dustin Lane, Luke Harris, Dustin Lane, Darian Crank, Evan Dansby, Darian Crank, prominent on this series as the Pioneers, you see, bending, not breaking, and actually force another turnover, and Darian Crank falls on top of it.
Great effort there by Laronte Archie causing the fumble, and good job by Darian Crank being where he's supposed to be and get on the football. And Brian, last year's game, we turned it over 4 times in the red zone, and I believe this year the tide turned a little bit. They were the unfortunate ones in the red zone, and our defensive football team had a lot to do with that.
North Greenville 2 for 5 in the red zone this football game with 2 turnovers as well. They would come up with some fortune, however. The Pioneers unable to move the football, have to punt it away. Carter would find Martino, who had a great day. Right here, Jelly Beckton knocking the ball away from Freddie Martino. And it's almost as if the coaching staff says, all right, if you're going to jump the route, we'll pump fake you.
We got to do a little better job. I actually looked Jelly straight in the eyes after that play right there and said, Jelly, they're getting ready to run the double move on you. They're going to run the out and up. And he said, okay, and they ran the out and up and scored on their very next play. So he's got to understand, take some coaching and do a little better job. But our offense responds. Great throw here by Bo. That linebacker almost got his hands on it. Phenomenal catch by Big West. And we're moving the chains. Here goes Brian Marshall once again. We got our big offensive lineman out there in front, look like big Nate Riddle. I'm not sure who that is, one of our starting offensive linemen up there. And Israel Pickens doing a good job protecting. We got a little heat, but Bo again, he's in the grass, but finds West to convert and move the chains for us. Just a great throw, great job communicating and making it work.
Wes Powell had one of his best days, actually his very best day in receptions for the Tusculum Pioneers, prominent in this possession once again. And Brian Marshall also once again, an 8-yard pickup big for him. Wes Powell, big man making moves with an 18-yard catch and run.
He don't need to be making moves. He needs to catch the football and get north and south, which he did a great job of there. Here's Bo buying some time and finding a wide open Jonathan Dilberto for his second touchdown of the night. Bo did a phenomenal job being patient and finding somebody open to get us in the end zone.
Second of the night, third of the season for Jonathan Dilberto. And so at the end of 3 quarters, the Tusculum Pioneers, with the point after missed by Brandon Berkey, would hold a 6-point edge over the North Greenville University Crusaders. That drive, 9 plays, 76 yards, 2 minutes and 15 seconds off the clock. And again, it answers the Crusaders' drive to tie the football game. Back with your fourth quarter right after this as the Frankie DeBusk Show continues, presented by Gateway Ford, Lincoln Mazda.
Gateway Ford on Highway 11E is rapidly becoming the #1 Ford dealer in the region. We're changing the car business for the better. Buying a car has never been easier. No add-on stickers. Plus, we'll appraise your car right up front. You pick the car you like and have your best price in less than 30 minutes. Plus, at Gateway, you'll receive a lifetime powertrain warranty on every new vehicle purchased. The clear choice. Gateway Ford, home of the big deal on Highway 11E in Greenville.
Creekside Market has 3 locations in southern Greene County to serve. So while you're traveling to or from any game, stop by and pick up a Hunt Brothers Pizza for those football Friday nights or Saturday afternoons. Creekside Market just off the 107. Locations on the Asheville Highway, Camp Creek, and the Irwin Highway. Creekside Markets in Greene County. Consumer Credit Union. Loans? We can do that. 3 locations in Greenville and Mossheim. At Consumer Credit Union, everybody can join. Visit online at consumercreditunion.com. So Cornelius will attempt a 41-yard effort. The kick is away, end over end toward the uprights, and he splits them. Welcome back into the Frankie DeBusk Show, presented by Gateway Ford, Lincoln Mazda. Pioneers have the lead going into the fourth quarter, but it's only a lead of 6 points. The fourth quarter presented by Gateway Ford, Lincoln Mazda.
We're in a battle. We've been in battles in the fourth quarter. I think we're battle tested. We proved it. This is a great throw by Bo, hanging in there, finding Zanvion, gets flipped there, but good job by X, being patient, waiting his time, catching some footballs. And here we gotta work on the timing on that little route, but still we're doing pretty good. Bo's letting things come to him, does a good job here, not forcing it once we get inside the red zone.
Bo Cordell, again, a good day passing. He's not going to have the great numbers, but the unfortunate things for Bo this year. He had 5 interceptions against West Georgia, and 3 of them were tipped. Here's another tip ball picked off by North Greenville, and they take this momentum, and they would actually drive down the field and take the lead. Here is a reverse, and it's the longest play of the year for the Crusaders.
Yeah, unfortunate. We got to stay home. We had a guy there, but we got to make sure we see what's coming. And you know, Wes Powell's got to catch that football first of all. You know, hit him right on top of the helmet and went through his hands. And he's playing well, but he's got to make that catch. And you know, they take it downfield and score. And now they've taken the lead. And you know, I'm saying, oh boy, here we go again. And we're trying to figure out what's going to happen. And all of a sudden, they kick it to Brian Marshall, and he comes out there like a rocket. Great job up front blocking by our kickoff return unit. Mark Kolb runs that unit for us, and just great effort here. We got Big Rocky Jones, I think, downfield making a block, and just Brian Marshall doing what he does best, run with the football.
Brian Marshall told me after the game, made one little slight adjustment there at halftime, and that's move him from the left side to the right side, and he feels like apparently the kickoff guy didn't pick up on it. Well, obviously not. So for the Pioneers, they get it to Big Wes Powell, and he's interfered with here, but a career best 8 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown in the game for Wes, second touchdown of the season, 3rd of his career. And the Pioneers, down by a point, would all of a sudden take the lead, and the Pioneers would have the point after again blocked and nearly returned for 2. So problem still in that kicking game with the extra point game for the Tusculum Pioneers. Now, North Greenville would take over. They had converted 1, 2, and 3 third downs on this particular drive. They've got some momentum. Obviously, they're only down 5 points at 26-21, and the defense, Evan Dansby knocking the ball away from Sean Wright in the back of the end zone, and then the defensive line would do their job.
Hanging on. We got to hang on to him and get him on the ground. They got some good things happening, and this is a big play right here. Brian Alexander fighting off the tight end, knocking him down, making a big hit. We give out a big dog winner each week, and I actually made that choice myself, just doing a phenomenal job, playing with your hands, knocking it down right there. Huge third down. Just great play by Brian Alexander, one of our team leaders on defense. And they go forward on 4th down. We do a good job staying home, putting pressure on them. I think that's Wimberly again. It makes it hard for the quarterback to throw the football, and he ends up throwing a little too far. And we get the football back.
Pioneers. I've always wondered if that helmet rule is going to come back and bite us with the best player we had. Brian Alexander, I think, was our best defender on the field on Saturday. He lost the helmet on 3rd down. He had to come out of the game, but they didn't go after him. They went on Rayford and Wimberly's side, and the Pioneers get a big stop. So the Pioneers, with a 5-point lead, try to run the ball first, but North Greenville picks it up. Then it's, I tell you what, maybe one of the best catches as Cordell finds Xavion Smith in traffic. He goes 84 yards.
Not only is it a good throw, it's a great catch, and he hangs on the football, breaks that tackle, and then I'm thinking he's going to get tackled on about the 30-yard line. He just keeps driving his feet. Xavion does a great job trying to get in the end zone. Dilberto's over there in the mix. I think he's just getting ran over, but at least he's trying. We hand it off to Marshall on the next play. Makes that safety miss, made it look real easy, and puts us in a good situation.
Brian Marshall, 13 carries for 90 yards and a touchdown. Brian Marshall, 7 receptions, 54 yards, 17 his long. Lorante Archie's 3rd career interception, just the icing on the cake for the Pioneers in this one. And the Pioneers avenged the loss that they suffered last year at the hands of the Crusaders, who romped right on through the South Atlantic Conference, and they'll be glad to tell you about it. Just ask anyone there associated with the North Greenville University side, and they'll tell you that they had a very good year. Yes, they did. 11-3 last season. They've had some. They've equaled their losses now from the season from a year ago at 0-3. The Pioneers improving to 1-2. Cordell throws for 322 yards, 4 touchdowns in the evening. The go-ahead strike went to Wesley Powell, but Cordell becomes the 3rd player in conference history and the 26th player in Division II history to surpass the 10,000 career passing yards mark. He's thrown for 10,316 yards in just 27 games. Again, the kid is just a redshirt junior. Does have 3 extra games, but he's done this in less than a career at a school, and he's closing in on Todd Cunningham, the all-time conference record holder in passing yards, the great Presbyterian quarterback. 10,800 yards, I think, is the mark. So you would think on the pace that he's going within the next 2 games, Bo Cordell will be the greatest passer in league history, but I think he'd trade all that in for more wins and more championships.
No, I guarantee you would. Bo's just one of those kids on our team that's a phenomenal leader, and we throw the football a bunch, and that's why he has the yards, but he still makes a lot of completions, makes a lot of good decisions as a good leader of our football team, and I wish him all the success in the world. And the more success he has, the more success we're going to have as a football team, and hopefully we can continue to build off what he's doing and find a way to win some more games.
Sustained game pressure, I think, from the Pioneers. Now, you're not going to like the numbers that I'm going to throw out to you because, again, their numbers were gaudy offensively, pretty good. Your numbers were fine, very steady, but they had 92 plays to your 66. Does that concern you in any way?
Well, time of possession is always a concern. It just worries me that we've got so many plays from a defensive standpoint. It's back to early in the game. We're not converting. Had a few 3-and-outs and not moving the chains as much as we'd like to offensively, but we finally got it going. We finally made some plays, finally scored some points, and we got to continue to work on that. Back on the defense side of the ball, though, as Coach Iezzi will tell you, we got to stop them. I mean, we had them in 3rd down a lot and couldn't get off the field. They did a good job converting when they needed to, and we did a poor job of stopping them getting off the field. So it sort of works both ways.
Pioneers defeat North Greenville. Final score 33-21. Get their first victory of the year. Coach DeBusk only has 2 losses in home openers. Last one coming in 2009, and didn't have one in 2012. 12-2 all time in home openers for the Pioneers. When we come back, it's time to meet our players of the week with our interviews and also our statistics. That's when the Frankie DeBusk Show continues after this, presented by Gateway Ford, Lincoln Mazda.
Gateway Ford on Highway 11E is rapidly becoming the #1 Ford dealer in the region. We're changing the car business for the better. Buying a car has never been easier. No add-on stickers. Plus, we'll appraise your car right up front. You pick the car you like and have your best price in less than 30 minutes. Plus, at Gateway, you'll receive a lifetime powertrain warranty on every new vehicle purchased. The clear choice. Gateway Ford, home of the big deal on Highway 11E in Greenville.
Your Greenville Light and Power System, an electrical distributor of TVA, serving Greenville and Greene County since 1945. Your Greenville Light and Power is dedicated to excellence in service and reliability. Visit online at glps.net.
Welcome back to the Frankie DeBusk Show. Once again, the voice of the Pioneers, Brian Stayton.
Welcome back to the Frankie DeBusk Show, presented by Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda. The Tusculum Pioneers pick up a 33-21 win against the North Greenville Crusaders, and it was a game definitely of big plays. We had a chance after the contest to talk with two of those guys who came up with two pretty big plays. Brian Alexander from just down in Chattanooga, and also Brian Marshall down in Chattanooga, and Brian Alexander in Union Point, Georgia. They're our Applebee's interview after the game. Joined by Brian Alexander, one of the two heroes for this game. A lot of heroes in this game offensively, Brian. We'll talk about some of those guys. But today, I think it was set up by your special teams, an 89-yard kickoff return that really sparked the team after you had lost the lead, got the lead back. What can a play like that, how does it energize this football team?
Special teams is a big part of the game. A lot of times people tend to forget about special teams, but I mean, a great return can always spark it. And I was glad, I can get my team going, and right at the next play, touchdown.
This is a game that I think Mark Cole wanted to come in and have a different look offensively. You still want to be up-tempo, but I think you wanted to pound the rock a little bit more. Tough to get that going. Were you guys frustrated in the running game early?
No, we just had to, just had to be patient as a line, as a running backs, and as a whole team. And, everything you keep working at is going to come to you.
An offense that had big plays. Xavier Smith, he was covered up pretty much in this entire game. Bo couldn't find him, then all of a sudden find him for a big play. You bust free for a big play. Wes Powell came alive today as an offensive player and an offensive threat. How good can this offense be? We keep talking about this each week, but I don't think you've reached your full potential yet.
It shows that, we have multiple threats, and once we get everybody doing the equal amount and being a threat, making those big plays, we're going to be great and be very unstoppable.
All right, Catawba next. Congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, that's Brian Marshall. We welcome in Brian Alexander. 9 tackles today for Brian in the game against North Greenville, and be a game where they couldn't block you. I'll just go ahead and say it. They didn't block you today. Was it easy for you out there?
It was easy. I felt like just play relentless and everything could come to me.
And it did. And they didn't run at you a whole lot. Did you feel as if you kind of had to move around? Was the defense, Coach Iezzi, was he trying to put you in a position to make plays today?
We called the strength to the field and to the passing strength, and that put me on the weak side, so they tried to move me around a little bit to get open.
All right, young kids out there in that backfield. They have young quarterbacks as well, but obviously those running backs early found some daylight. What was an adjustment? Did you make any adjustment against their running game?
We just had to warm up. We had to play our keys, and everybody just had to get in their gaps. We just had to get an understanding of what they were doing early.
It was a little bit like third down. And, again, about that last drive, when they needed a drive, they were converting on third down. What was the big key for you guys in the turning point in that second half to get off the field on third down?
We just had to bow our back and just step up and make plays when we needed to.
9 tackles, 2 behind the line and a sack. We haven't made a whole lot of stops behind the line of scrimmage, but when they've been there, you've been the guy that seems to make those plays. Why is that?
Just humping, trying to run it down, playing hard.
That's all you can do. Brian, thanks for your time. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
That's Brian Alexander, our Applebee's Players of the Week. We thank the Bryans for their time after the game. It's time now to individually meet our players of the game. We'll start on offense with our Sodexo Offensive Player of the Game. Well, you just somewhat met him. Brian Marshall, the senior out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, from Ottawa High School, 13 carries, 90 yards, which those 90 yards, a career best for him, and a touchdown. 7 receptions for 54 yards, 258 all-purpose yards. This is the third most in a game at Tusculum history. 90 rushing yards, 54 receiving yards, 106 kickoff return yards. Now Brian Marshall be very close in becoming and setting a record someone has never done here at Tusculum. That is, become the only running back with 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards for a career, about 60 yards shy in rushing yards and 50 yards shy in receiving yards. Our Greenville Light and Power Defensive Player of the Week is Brian Alexander, the junior out of Union Point, Georgia, from Greene County High School. In the game, finished with 9 tackles, 2 for loss, a sack, and 3 pass breakups. For his career, 178 tackles, 26 for loss, with 9 sacks. Our Green Coach Tour Special Teams Players of the Week. We begin with Andy Rossetti, the junior from Kenneth City, Florida, out of St. Petersburg High School. He finished with 7 punts on the evening, 42.6-yard average, but a long of 64, which is a new career best for Andy, and had 3 inside the 20. Skylar West Newport, the senior out of Oneida, Tennessee, from Oneida High School, finishing with 2 tackles, the long snapper for the team. And Stephen Matthews, the redshirt freshman out of Lithonia, Georgia, out of Martin Luther King High School. He finished with 2 tackles. Inadvertently called him Darian Crank at one time during the contest, but quickly corrected that as he made yet another stop on kickoff return coverage. Those are our players of the week. It's time now for our Andrew Johnson Bank Call of the Game. Game had so many big plays, we came up with 2, Brian Marshall and Xavion Smith.
This kickoff return, Brian Marshall 30, 40, 45, 50, cuts back 45, 40, Marshall 30, Marshall to the 20, to the 10, and forced out of bounds at the 7-yard line. First and goal, Pioneers, Brian Marshall for touchdown. Cordell to pass it with some time, and he's got a man open, Xavion Smith, who caught it at the 40, broke a tackle midfield. 40, cuts back there at the 35, to the 30, Smith to the 20, carrying defenders inside the 10, down to the 5, Xavion Smith, first and goal, Pioneers.
Let's go inside the numbers. The Creekside Market post-game wrap-up. In the game, North Greenville offensively, statistically dominated the stats. They had 31 first downs to the Pioneers 21, 253 rushing yards to the Pioneers 122, had 283 passing yards to the Pioneers 322, 536 yards of offense, 444 for the Pioneers, and North Greenville had 95 plays in the game to Tusculum 67. Time of possession 37-48 to 22-12. Third downs, 12 of 20 for North Greenville, 4 of 13 for the Pioneers. Pioneers, though, over 30% converting on third downs this season, but the opposition that they are allowing to convert 49% of the time here early through the first 3. In the red zone, North Greenville just 2 for 5 with 2 turnovers, where the Pioneers were a perfect 4 for 4. We'll wrap it up when we continue right after this here on the Frankie DeBusk Show, presented by Gateway Ford, Lincoln Mazda.
Dean, what's wrong? We all want to go to the game, but I just don't think we have a car big enough for all of us.
Don't worry, Dean. My dad's inside Gateway right now buying us a new SUV that can fit all of us.
What do you think, guys?
Yeah, let's go! Hey, Ty, you ready to go to the game?
Yeah, I'm ready to go, Dad, but we have some new people wanting to go to the game.
Well, let's go.
Yeah, I think that will work.
I'm Pioneer Coach Frankie DeBusk, asking you, like I do my son Ty, to support the Tusculum College athletics all year long. And for your next car buying experience, please visit Gateway Ford, Lincoln Mazda.
Go Pioneers!
The best deal in the neighborhood just got better with more to love on the 2 for $20 meal only at Applebee's. Applebee's is a proud sponsor of the Frankie DeBusk TV show and side of the Frankie DeBusk radio show. Applebee's on the bypass in Greenville. There's no place like the neighborhood. Sodexo, a world leader in food and facilities management services. Sodexo proudly serves Tusculum College and supports Pioneer football. Sodexo, making every day a better day. Anything you'll ever need to rent or buy is at Grand Rental Station. Business, commercial, or residential, from forklifts to backhoes to tents, party goods, wedding supplies, and much more. On the Andrew Johnson Highway in Greenville, Grand Rental Station, 639-6160. Welcome back into the Frankie DeBusk Show, presented by Gateway Ford, Lincoln Mazda. Brian Stayton with the coach, Frankie DeBusk. North Greenville, I think you mentioned it last year, you weren't going to be surprised by them anymore. This is a program that's gone out, done a great job getting in some great athletes and great talent. That's a young team that they face. Those running backs are pretty good. The quarterbacks made some good decisions, made some bad decisions, but you weren't surprised by their talent, and you guys came out there, took the fight to them, and then came back twice. I was impressed to see how you were able to fight when you were down early in the game.
Well, their head football coach, Carol McCray, and I go back many, many years, and he's a very, very high-quality person, and he's doing a great job over there. He's taken over in an unusual situation where they had so much success, and it was probably unexpected success and now they're 0-3, but I think they've got one of the better football teams we've played. They're still trying to fight through some injuries, and their quarterback situation's a juggle right now, and there's some defensive linemen that didn't play due to various reasons, but very talented. We needed to rebound and make sure we were doing our part after our first 2 ball games, and needed to find a way to get a win, and we beat a good quality opponent in North Greenville, and I think they'll be very successful as the year goes along. But now we've got to take all the goods and the bads from a win and take it to the next step. We start our true South Atlantic Conference play against Catawba this coming Saturday, and we'll have our hands full, I can promise you that.
Yeah, Catawba is a team that at the time I was talking with Coach DeBusk afterwards, wasn't sure if they had come from behind, won the game. Actually, they didn't. They kind of gave it away. Newberry defensively stepped up, won at 35-28. So Catawba is going to be a team under the lights in Salisbury. This is going to be something new for us, playing Catawba there as well at night. But Catawba's that team with Coach Chip Hester that has a great defense, it seems like, year in and year out. And it seems like they've got that secondary tuned up once again, ready to face the Pioneers.
They always are great up front. Their defensive line coach does a phenomenal job getting those kids ready. They're not defending the pass as well right now, which sort of goes into one of our strengths. So hopefully our strengths will match up with their weaknesses and vice versa. But they will have as much talent as anybody we've played. Chip Hester does a phenomenal job. I think most of the games we've played them in the last 14 years have come down to 7 points or last play of the game or a 10-point win or loss. So I expect it to be one of those nights. And they're sort of like we were last week. They were ahead 28-7 against Newberry at one time and turned it over late in the game. They didn't finish and ended up losing 35-28. So they're going to be having a bunch of questions answered this week, and I'm sure they'll be ready for us. And should be a great college football game when we roll into Salisbury on Saturday night.
All right, your team had great big plays in the contest, which is what you always want. We kind of measure a team. We're just not making those big plays. Can you sustain, can you live off a team making just big plays and not always converting on third down?
Well, I would rather be a team that makes big plays than not, and we have guys doing that right now left and right. And we're knocking the ball loose on defense. We're making some interceptions. Arante Archie had a huge interception there, and where we're making big runs on kickoff return, making big runs running the football, making big catches, turning it into touchdowns. We got guys making big plays, and we just got to keep it going.
All right, best of luck. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Pioneer coach Frankie DeBusk as the Tusculum Pioneers knocked off North Greenville 33-21. They turned their sights towards the Catawba Indians from Shuford Stadium in Salisbury, North Carolina. We'll have your coverage. Night game once again here on the Pioneer Sports Network. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock. The kickoff is at 7 o'clock, AM 1450 WSMG, and worldwide through TusculumPioneers.com. Don't forget, this past Saturday, in case you missed it, the Tusculum Pioneer webpage hosting web streaming of home events. That includes football and some soccer. So if you'd like to check it out, you can also listen to the Pioneer Sports Network during that web streaming on TusculumPioneers.com for the home events. Pioneers won't be home for another couple of weeks. Many thanks to all of our sponsors who allow us to bring you the Frankie DeBusk Show. Behind the scenes, Quentin Talley and Nathan Humbert. For Pioneer coach Frankie DeBusk, I'm Brian Stayton. Until next week, go Pioneers.
This has been the Frankie DeBusk Show with head coach Frankie DeBusk, featuring coaches' interviews, player spotlights, highlights, and statistical breakdowns.
Presented by Gateway Ford Lincoln Mazda, the home of the big deal. Located on the 11E bypass in Greeneville. And brought to you in part by Applebee's, your neighborhood bar and grill. There's no place like the neighborhood. Sodexo, a world leader in food and facilities management services. Sodexo, making every day a better day. Your Greenville Light and Power System, serving Greenville and Greene County since 1945. Andrew Johnson Bank, a strong heritage, a stronger future. Home owned and operated with locations in Greenville, Morristown, Jonesboro, Johnson City, and Cleveland. Grand Rental Station, anything you'll ever need to rent or buy. Consumer Credit Union, with 3 convenient locations in Greenville and Moss High. Creekside Markets, don't pass by, stop by, with 3 locations in Greene County. Laughlin Memorial Hospital, whatever you do, do it well. By Green Coach Tours, celebrating their 66th anniversary. Special consideration from Comcast Cable.
The Gateway Ford Frankie DeBusk Show is a special presentation of the Pioneer Sports Network.